Hello my friend, welcome to my channel. In this section I want to cover basic concepts of PostgreSQL like select, add and update queries. If you know these concepts, skip this part. In this part you will learn how you can create table, how work with PostgreSQL, and I think those concepts are enough for basics of working with Go. Later on, I will cover more videos about SQL and high-level queries, but for now, just if you know this concept, you can easily work with Go. After you install the PostgreSQL, another thing you need also is pgadmin for managing your query and database. I put this PostgreSQL compose file in the GitHub. I don't install Postgres and those configuration in my system because it's prevent from speed of my system, and maybe I need another database like MongoDB or SQL Server. So I don't install all of them, and I have one Docker installed on my computer, and when I need them I just make them up. I put this Postgres compose on my GitHub, and after you run this command on your computer, if you don't want to install PostgreSQL on your system, you can have a Postgres on your computer. Also, if you need, you can search for tutorials. They are available on the YouTube for your PostgreSQL and install that from the source. As you can see, you can follow the Gemini or the official website or Postgres W3 schools. After you installing the Postgres, you have a pgadmin in here. I put my password just admin123. And you can connect to your server by connecting and adding the server. Let's see the properties in here. Connection, PostgreSDB 500. Let's remove that and add this again, if I remember. Admin servers, PostgreSDB. Okay, PostgreSDB 5430, or I can just open another and remove a server group. After clicking on register, you can click on server. It say give a server name. I put it just it's a server name, default server. It don't have anything. It's need a host name address. If you install that on your computer, you have to enter the local host and the port you install that. If your server is out of your system, like it's a server, you have to include the server URL like 927 6, something like that, and then port. Otherwise, if you use a Docker, you can just say a container name, because I reference that this container name depends on Postgres in here. If you use my Docker version, just write that PostgreSDB, and I think you don't need to enter the port. We say PostgreSDB, and after saving that, okay, no password. Password admin123. As you can see, Postgres is created default server for me. The databases are here, and I can create a new database with name Writer Club. If I save that, it will create a new database for me. I click on it to query tools, and queries consist of the command. They are work with SQL, like create table. We can create table. SQL database consists of the tables. Each table represents as a list of one quantity, like persons or cars or anything. Imagine that you want to save a list in your database. You create a table, and in your tables they are inserted in a after getter. Without further to do, let's create a new table. And if it say create table, that means I need to make a new table. It say what is the name of the table, fighters, and inside the parentheses it say the column my table have. Every table have an ID. Unique ID is the identifier of the table, so it's integer, and we have a name for each fighter. We have our name is Archer 255. As you can see in here, if we don't put the 255 means 1 byte, and if we don't specify size and limit, it's imagine that varchar is a unique, it's a text, and it's don't put a size for that. Always put a size for your varchar, and if the size of text you insert is more than 255 in here, it will throw the error. So the size, it's ensure always your size are shorter than 255. Last name, it's better to write the name in a PostgreSQL like a snake case. A snake case are like this. You put the one, it's something like that, snake case. So when you work with PostgreSQL, always put your table like that, varchar, and we have a last name here, and nickname is our end column. If we run our query, as you can see in here, query returned successfully in the millisecond. So I just put this on Notepad and delete that. I put all the query inside the GitHub. You can check that if you want and need later on. So if we select a star from our table, a star means I need all the columns. I describe it later. It's, as you can see in here, we have ID, name, last name, and nickname. Also, we can insert a value into our database, like insert into our table, which columns we want, and values. So instead of select of that, I can say insert into the name of our table, and after that the value we want to insert is ID, name, last name, and nickname. The values we want to insert in our table. Our values are like, they have to be I just copy it from my JSON. So if I copy that in here, the ID is number 1, name is Alexander, Volkanovsky for the last name, and our nickname. If we select the start, values, okay, we need a semicolon in here, and if we run it again, as you can see, we have a Alexander Volkanovsky the Great in here. Another thing I want to do in here is that ID are the key, so we have to specify it's a key. When we put it key in here, if we want to find it later with ID, the SQL can easier find our table. So I cut this and inside here say alter table, our table name, and say add primary key. It's the name of the our column, it's the ID. So when we run that, it's a alter table was successfully, so we have the ID is the primary key now, and another alter we need to do is that make it unique, so we don't need every time to enter the ID of the user. We want to say automatically it's count our ID, so say added constraint the name of our identifier, so we added one name, for example unique fighter ID, and we put it unique, the name of our column ID. So every time after run this query, every time I add a new user, I don't need to say, for example, let's add another user. We don't need to fill the ID, and if we insert query like that, we get a error because they are unique. And again, if we insert as we say again, we get error because we put our ID unique. So if even we remove our numbers ID, it's have to fill the ID for us automatically. So the number 3, let me check. Okay, we need another query for here. We alter the table user and we say ID at generated always as identity. After we run that and run our query again, the PID1 is already exist. We have to delete our users because it's don't understand to start from where, so we write a delete query and delete our fighters. Delete is like we have to put a from before that, so delete from fighters. And as you can see, now our table are empty. We insert those in here, and let's to insert our fighter again. So this time for Alexander we don't need ID. If we insert ID, it say ID is an identity column defined as generated always. So we remove the ID, and as you can see, Alexander get a generated again. And for number 2, we have Osman in here. And if we forget something like the nickname is wrong in here, so we need to update our nickname because it have to be the Nigerian nightmare. What we have to do, we write another command that is update. So we write update and say update our table, set the column we want to, and where in the end of that. So if we want to our number 3 or 5 number idea 5 to edit it. So we write our update our table name, and after that set our column, set nick name to Nigerian nightmare. And if we don't put a where in after this, it's edit all of my column and put a then the Nigerian nightmare. So I don't want to it do so. I just write a where it's a condition after that. After where I can write any of my column name. For example, let's imagine that name is equal to, as you can see in here, my name is equal to Camero. Don't have a copy in here, so I have to write it by hand. If it can't find my column, it's don't edit anything. So as you can see, it's a degrade. But if I put that correct, as you can see, the Nigerian nightmare is Osman.